know if we're good on
All right, yeah,
Twitch.
it says that you are now streaming. Um, yeah, I can hear our voices. What's pulled up
Yes.
is like my video actually.
Yep.
Oh
Sweet.
shit. Well,
So we should be good.
hell yeah. Maybe I should go on. Yeah. All right. Word.
All right. Um, yeah, I mean, Romeo, if you're streaming, you should be the host then, I guess, right?
Yeah, do we have a name for this? Official name?
Tough choice. I don't know.
Romeo, can you hear me?
We didn't get very far, huh?
Old Line Bros? I don't know.
Uh,
Pokemon
we
One
got.
Piece NBA?
Yeah,
Sports
I mean, there's got to be some way to get like an alliteration of those three.
Sportsmon and
Uh,
Peace?
what was it? Sports what piece?
Sportsmon and Peace?
Maybe that's our first segment is discussing a name.
We will think of a
That's
name. I
real.
think.
That's real meta of us, actually.
This is live. I am streaming right now. This is the
You know what?
Patreon content.
It'll come to us as we go. I think we will.
Yeah, no,
As
maybe
we,
if we get any chat, talks, and maybe the chat can help us name our podcast.
So we're kicking it off. Podcast to be named, but starting off, we've got OKC versus the Timberwolves. OKC looks like they're off to a early little lead. I really want the Timberwolves to win, but I think the Thunder are just gonna run away with the series. I thought last night or the last game was kind of a blip.
What was it? 42 points.
It
Uh,
it was. I feel like there's a certain point where when you know you're gonna lose, it's like, okay, we're waving the white flag, we're giving up this game, and whether you lose by 20 or 40, like it's kind of already over.
yeah, that
right?
makes sense. Yeah, no, I also I'm not to be that guy who disrupts it again. Should we introduce ourselves
Yeah, I think that's probably a
instead of
good
just
call. I
names
didn't know how
going?
to
I
tee
feel
it
like
up.
we're just like they're just three guys just talking. I mean, we could name or whatever, but I feel like
We
they
do
would
like
just
an
be better
around the
voices.
horn.
Yeah, yeah, like do something like that. Yeah.
All right,
Because I'm
so
trying to think of like, imagine someone just showing up and just like talking. We have no name of the podcast. They don't know who's on the podcast. They
You
just
can
know
see
there's just
that down
Pokemon
change.
Ball.
all right, and action. All right, we're kicking off the to be named podcast. We'll come up with that later, but we'll do a quick around the horn. I'm Anthony Romeo. I'm 31. I work in tech, AI, machine vision space. Big fan of the One Piece series. Played Pokemon all growing up, and Philadelphia 76ers fan.
Rock on. All right. I'm Andrew Tyrell. T Dog, Tyrola, Lagastrodon James. I'm a teacher, big Lakers fan, unfortunately, but I've been kind of shifting. I'm a Pistons guy as well. Cade Cunningham, shout out to him. I'm a huge Pokemon guy. That's my niche. And then I've been reading One Piece for my first time, while Rome's and Dan uh, give me subtle hints and foreshadowing and pick my brain with analysis as we go.
All right. Well, as foreshadowed, like Oda does, Andrew Tyrell foreshadowed my name. My name is Dan. Uh, I'm 30. I run my own drone business, but I'm also a tennis coach, a machinist, and a pizza chef. So I wear a lot of hats. But I do have a lot of interests. I'm a huge One Piece fan. Been reading it all my life. Basketball, I've been a nut since Allen Iverson stepped over Toronto Lue in 2001 NBA Finals, and I'm still a Sixers fan as well. And then basically love Pokemon. I've been playing the games my entire life. Never really collected the cards, but I absolutely love Pokemon. Definitely my three niches. I love all three. My favorite sports team though is the Philadelphia Eagles. So a little football guy. Saquon Barkley is the goat, but
Ayo.
yeah, let's get into it, boys. I'm down to talk, down to discuss.
Yeah, I
So
think we rip it with just talking about this Wolves and OKC series. We briefly were talking a little bit about the last game and how it was a blowout. Romeo kind of mentioned that at a certain point you're just getting absolutely skull fucked and you just kind of throw in the towel and you know 2-0 anyway. So like, what's 2-1? You know, why exert all the energy to try and make a crazy 20-25 point comeback, whatever it was. Unless you're the Indiana Pacers, in which case you've done it 3 times in this playoffs, which is absolutely bananas. So I think they just threw in the towel knowing they were kind of cooked, and they're like, we'll let Minnesota win one, try to steal game 2 here, go up 3-1, close it out 4-1, and OKC. I think it doesn't matter what happens. I think OKC wins this, and they beat whoever's in the East.
yep.
Oh, I mean, like I think obviously if you look at this Minnesota squad, you have your superstar in it, and you have your Robin and Julius Randle, and you have your big defensive stopper and Rudy, good veterans in Mike Conley, and then you also have Jaden McDaniels. I mean, the Wolves team's legit, so I mean they definitely can beat this OKC squad. It just feels like Minnesota's doing everything, and OKC is just kind of we've seen in the playoffs they just blow out teams by like 30 a bunch of times, and it's like when they're in that zone, there's no one I don't think left that could beat them.
I hear you,
Because
and I definitely think OKC is winning this series. I am going to take the contrarian, and I think that when the Nuggets won, I was a fan of the Zombie Heat, and just sometimes low-seeded teams in the East just get me going. This Pacers team just seems like the team of destiny. They seem like they cannot be stopped.
I
top
mean, they're
three, top
definitely.
three.
Yeah, I think that what's crazy about the Pacers is that they don't care who scores. Like they just play ball,
Hard
and
to scheme against.
yeah, I think that's why like Tyrese Halliburton's so underrated. Even though he's proven like 4 different times again in this playoffs that like he should be talked about a little more. But people still have him as underrated, and I am also a hater. I know Dan's a hater, uh, but
Oh yeah,
he just
hater
fucking
extraordinaire.
he just fucking play like he just doesn't care. Like it's like he'll take 4 shots and not care at all. And Nemhard will just jack up 17 threes. And then the next game, Nemhard might only shoot twice. Like they just don't. It's like whatever the flow of the game is what they do. And I think that's why they're doing so well. And also, they're comparative to OKC. They just don't. I don't think they have as big of stars like OKC has. But like OKC also doesn't really care who scores. Like if Jalen Williams pops off for 25, he pops off for 25. If Chet's going to put up 20, that's fine. And then you have SGA who can go for 50. But I feel like they pass the ball, they move the ball well. They keep hyping up Caruso, which is fantastic. As a Lakers
Yeah.
fan. But like Caruso will put up 3 points on like 1 for 4 shooting, but like he locks everybody down and he's like plus 25 on the plus minus. And it's like, that's just good basketball.
Yeah, his D
So
against Jokic. Jeez.
yeah. So I mean it's like they're similar teams. I don't know if the Knicks have any juice to pull I mean, although they just had a crazy comeback last night, but I don't know if they got the juice to withstand the Pacers team.
The Pacers play like everyone plays 2K, where they just hold down the turbo button most of the time and they just run it, and it's just they just go at you and they just keep going at you and they just have those players. They're just really fast paced, jack up a lot of shots. You have a point guard that kind of just is very shifty and can keep that Steve Nash dribble around, and they just go at you, man. But I think the Knicks, it's one of those things. I want to believe in the Knicks because I mean it's a cool story. I feel like basketball is in a better spot, and I mean I was talking to some of my clients that live in Brooklyn, and they talk about how much New York is a basketball city, and how much like even when the Yankees do like when the Yankees were really good. Sorry to say, boys, 20 years ago, like when they were winning World Series every year, like the city was a buzz from what they say, but like even the New York Knicks making the East Conference Finals, it's even crazier. And it's just,
Yeah.
I think certain cities have these like they have a team with success, and I still think they bleed Yankees. But at the end of the day, I think it's a basketball city, and I think it would be kind of really cool to see the Knicks lift one. But again, like OKC, like I think they're just going to be that team that the NBA doesn't. Honestly, the NBA would love to see the Knicks win, but I think the NBA is just going to get a Thunder win if Anthony Edwards can't figure it out and go Michael Jordan mode.
Yeah. All right, so our next segment, we have a little Pokemon thing. Andrew, you want to tee it up for us?
Well, first of all, peep the shirt. We got Draftmon 2.
Let's
Bring
go.
me these fires. Got a lot of content on the draft. That's going to be a song for another time. But you never know when a Quagsire will pop up. Yeah, if you want to pull it up on your slides there, that'd be sweet. And let me know when it's up because
I've got up slide 1, the total number of Pokemon per type per generation.
All right, cool. So yeah, you want to kind of just give me some numbies on there. The big thing that I recall from this chart is that poison types have 33, 32.
Yes, lot of poison representation. Didn't
Right.
really
So
realize that. And water, yeah.
A lot of poison reps, and I didn't realize it. There's one thing that maybe I would do a little differently when we get to the second slide, but that's okay. We'll get there when we get there. But I just feel like the poison types, there were so many of them in Gen 1. And we got Koga on the 5th gym, And it was kind of he had some Mons, but what do you have? A Muck, a Weezing, a Venomoth? Was that it? And or 2 Weezings or something like that? And
Get a Golbat.
So Golbat, Weezing,
Muck, right?
Venomoth, Muck.
Yeah, because I remember he had the Golbat, or maybe maybe that's when he was in the Elite Four. But I remember because he's the ninja, right? So he's gotta have a bat.
No, he doesn't have. I don't think he has a Parasect because that's a bug grass. But
you're right.
Anyway, so I just feel like having that many Mons in Gen 1, and where I was gonna go with that is fucking Gengar is a poison type, and how sick would it be if the ninja had a Gengar?
Yeah,
I mean, think it'd be very sneaky.
Poison ghost.
A ninja wants to be a ghost. I mean, there's that whole,
it would just fit. And I didn't put it in my next slide, but it would fit, But and also I get you don't want to spoil. You don't want to spoil the Elite Four. So there's some.
What are Gengar for Agatha?
This chart is still pulled up, and I see it's I understand now what I'm looking at, and the Ghost 3 in Gen 1 and Dragon 3 in Gen 1, and it's the Gengar line and the Dragonite line. And then there's 4 cumulative Gen 2. What are the Ghost? Mischievous is the Ghost. What's the Dragon ad?
Gen 2?
Gen 2 Dragon.
Gen 2? The Kingdra is the 4th.
Kingdra!
Kingdra.
Oh,
My favorite Pokemon.
What a pull! How did I not know? / I teed it up.
I can't tell if you were setting me up for that, dude. It's my favorite Mon of all time.
Yeah, no, that
was a Dwayne Wayne, LeBron James alley-oop right there.
Forgot it was the Dragon type, but okay.
Yeah, then Steel and so I mean this is a really good ad or good graphic.
Do you want me to go to slide 2?
Wait, before we go to slide 2, I want to talk about the graph a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously we're kind of discussing really only Gen 1, and maybe a little Gen 2 today. I just want to bring to event that water types. I mean, 145 water types.
Yeah.
By the last gen, and I mean the Ghost. Yeah, I mean Ghost and Dragon 64 and 63, and obviously all other than Ice type, which is crazy because Ice is 46 because Ghost and Dragon kind of were. Hey, you didn't see a lot through the first 3 gens, and then Dragon has consistently been, through 5 gens, like a top 2. But Ice, I just thought there was more Ice types. I can't believe there's only 46 Ice types. It doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
So steady. 5, then 10, then 16, then 12. It's a very consistent.
I feel like we should. I don't know. I think
wait. You know what's weird though is that there's a few generations. Gen 2 has an Ice gym. Gen 5 has an Ice gym. Does Gen 4 have an Ice gym? No. Is the
Gen 4
seventh gym
doesn't.
ice in Gen 4? Or am I?
What's
No,
Snow
'cause
Point?
the
No,
eight-
no, Snow Point City's Gen, right? That's the Gen 4, right? Snow
Yeah,
Point.
yeah, you're
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Obama Snow.
The Obama snow, right? Yeah. So like,
Yeah.
I just there's like a lot of ice type representation in terms of gym leaders, but there's not a lot of pokes. And like in Gen 3, like that whole area, it's not an ice type gym leader, but it's just like you go to that one area where you can get like Spheal, and like that. It's like if you don't get the Spheal, you don't have ice. Like that's it.
You
Yeah.
would think, more like the snowy mountains are never always just filled with ice. Like there's always. I feel. I mean, isn't there in Gen 5 or 6 when what gen is the Vanillix? Do you have
Gen
the
5,
Vanillix? Yeah, and you have the Vanillix and the Beartic and like Cragnagle, and then you just like, you know what I'm saying? There's just feels like there's, that Generation
So
5 to 6 right there, where you only had 6 Pokemon. Like I don't know. I want to see more ice types, but I should guess. All right,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
I get
Um,
that water is the most common because like you have to
yeah,
surf
water
and
normal
there's going to be
flying, right?
Pokemon. Yeah, and then like normal flying, there's always like the bird like
Yeah, the sky and the ocean. I
evolution,
feel like
right?
are yeah.
I I feel like every generation you're guaranteed 3 water, 3 grass, 3 fire. I'm surprised fire's so far behind grass like the entire time. Like the
Yeah.
No, yeah,
first two
there's
gens
not a
they
lot of
start
fire.
right next to each other. Like 12, 14, 22, 24, and then it just separates and never really came back.
Fighting is
I think
never.
it goes
You would
back
think.
to the real.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's just a realism of like there's grass everywhere. So it's just like when you walk outside, like you can think of different like random bug grass type Pokemon, but like when you think of fire types, it's like how many times did they do a fire dog? You know, we had the first 2 gens, you got 2 of them, and then even like the fucking like Entei, like the legendary is still like a fire dog, right?
I guess I'm surprised
But like
Psychic is as high as it is.
right. Well, you can make anything psychic. Like Mr. Mime is just literally like this like they're very humanoid. Every psychic type is like humanoid. Even like the Meow Stick
So
in
it's like
Gen
kind of
5.
normal.
Yeah, it's like they're like more normal creatures, but like they just they're like, oh yeah, but they can do psychic shit. And then it's like, all right,
Yeah,
but
like
like
you
to
say, you have
breathe
the
fire.
sprite. Yeah. Like it's
Yeah,
either they're
like to
either
breathe
very
fire,
humanoid
bro.
or they got like elf-like.
Right. Yeah. And the fire shit is just kind of like you got fire animals, but like how many of those you really have? And then it's like you got like a Magmar, it's like a fire duck, kind of sick.
Pretty sweet. And then
But
just
yeah,
evolves and has cannon arms. You
cannon
know what I'm
arms is
saying?
pretty
Like you have this Magmar, and then you just like, oh, it evolves. Guess what? Cannons for arms.
cannons, people, cannons. So yeah, trying to pull up. Can't really pull up my second slide because I have all the animations in there. So I'm gonna go off memory. So go ahead, go to the second slide. Let's see if I were to redo Gen 1 as like a gym leader, like what would I add and why? Go ahead and click onto that next slide there.
I'm going to 3. Or I'm on 2 right now.
Yeah, 2. Okay,
I've got
cool.
the
So
the
it should be
pincer.
a
It looks like it's doing a Stone Edge onto a Scyther.
shit, the animation fucked it.
I have it on
Hold on.
view only. I'm requesting edit to access, which might let me do like display mode.
I'll just move this fucking pincer shit. God damn it.
Oh, I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
You
I
got it.
got
You
it.
got it. All right.
Yep. I have
If
right
you go
now
in
4
perspective-
empty Pokeballs.
Okay, cool. All right. So click it again.
I have a Paris in Pokeball 1.
Fantastic. All right. So what I would do if I was in Gen 1, what kind of gym leader I would be, and I feel like it would just kind of add a lot of depth, and I'll go ahead and talk about all 8 badges, what I would do. But I would love to be a bug gym leader. I don't understand why in Gen 1, I mean, I guess if you're following the anime, sure, you got to have Brock. But like, if we think about it, Brock is kind of a fucking bully. This dude went right outside of a forest and just grabbed all his rocks and has this big rock snake and is like, I am just going to bully anyone that decides to catch any bug types in Viridian Forest. Like, fuck you, dude. I feel like we
His
should.
dad remember his dad left him, dude. Come on. He's probably out at issues.
All right, I should have some empathy. I guess.
Yeesh!
I would still
horniest
keep
man
it.
in anime. There's the legendary horny guys. I think Brook is an underrated, very very horny guy. You know, because I
True.
feel like there's this whole genre anime where it's like romantic size, where it's like you literally have the horniest people alive. But dude, Brock back in '95 was just hitting on anything.
I mean,
True.
Nurse
Boy,
Joyce.
Officer Jenny, and mind you, they were all. I mean, in this anime, what isn't Ash like 10 years old? Like, how old is Brock? 16. So maybe he's just a teenager going through puberty, but
He could be. I don't know. Yeah,
wants to
he's
get that
definitely
pipe.
always trying to. And when you
I feel like
watch,
him and Misty were a little older.
yeah, definitely a little older.
But not like
than
too
Ash.
much older, you know, because Misty's still riding her bike. She's still got her older sisters. Brock's got the dad, but he's got like really young siblings. So it's like he could just be, you know.
I feel like 16 is a fair guess for both of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, and it's like that scene in 21 Jump Street when the gym teacher looks at Channing Tatum. He's like, wow, you have crazy muscle definition for 16 years old. I feel like that's Brock. Like in the games, he would just have his shirt off and he'd just have a six pack. I'm like, what are you, 16? Like,
He
Dude, he's
trains
kind
with
of a
Brock.
gym
He's
leader
cool.
prodigy, really. Gym leader at 16?
bro.
It's kind of
him
baller.
and Misty. People forget those first two gyms are legendary.
The only younger gym leaders are probably Bugsy. I feel like Bugsy's young as shit in Gen 2. Right?
Yeah.
And
Probably
Whitney feels kind of young too, but I feel like she's just entitled and spoiled.
That milk
Yeah, I
tank
mean, you
feels
know,
like
yeah.
it's been through some wars.
But hey,
All
I
right.
mean, I feel like a bug type with Paris, that's still, I mean, you catch and pretty.
So you're saying this would be Gen
Yeah,
1
alright, so-
after Brock? Was that what you were teeing up? Or
Yeah, so hear me out. So we leave Brock where he is to respect the anime, but we're gonna bump
Okay.
Misty down to 3, and we're gonna wedge ourselves right into Badge 2. So we catch a Paris. They're not in Viridian Forest, but they fucking should be. But they are in Mount Moon, which you have to go through to get to Cerulean. So like that's fair. That is comp, right?
Yep.
So that would be
Yeah.
my first. That would be my first poke. You know, maybe we sneak into Mount Moon before we challenge Brock, and you know, our bug types are hardened. You know, they've got a lot of defense EVs. We grind against Brock. You know, and they fought through that adversity and get to be second gym leader. Now this is before Gen 2, but like, yes, Bugsy is the second gym leader in Gen 2 with bug types. So there's a little overlap, but we could always move around Gen 2.
I think
Anyway,
sometimes
but-
consistency is cool too. Like if just a theme, like second gym leader's a bug one. Like I feel like that
Bug
has
is
some like
great.
tradition.
Yeah, Bug is great early because they're also like better Pokemon early.
Right.
And then once it's late game, like they're
Falls
pretty
off.
non-biased. Yeah. Go ahead, click next. You'll see a great little GIF I imported.
Oh.
Speaking of
Brock
Brock.
himself. Speaking of Brock.
Speaking of Brock, we were Oda.
Oh! I clicked to
Got
the next one too. And is this shiny?
Yeah, so I just love the shiny sprite. I'd also, love to talk about the conspiracy of Venonat should be evolving.
Oh. Do
You know,
we? I mean, all I can say is look at the Caterpie evolution from Metapod to Butterfree, and then look at the Venonat to Venomoth evolution, and the little antennas and the eyes and little teeth match very much with Butterfree, and the like little V on the Caterpie, and the little, I guess it's a trident on the Venomoth. Like it. Someone should have been fired at the Pokemon Company.
I mean, yeah, look at his little feet. I feel like he's literally just that, like, all of its appendages, I guess, other than its furry body, are all Butterfrees. They just put it on a. What?
It's even got the purple coloring, dude. It's got everything. Like, and it's like Venomoth has that hint of purple, but like it looks like it evolved from a fucking Metapod. Like it looks. I don't understand that. Anyway, I love the shiny sprite of Venonat. And we keep it not fully evolved. It's only a second gym, so we got 2 not fully evolves. But Venonat can be annoying. It's got sleep powder. It's got it's a solid poke. And Paris, same thing, can be pretty annoying with like stun spore or stuff like that. So it's like if you're not gonna have a fire type early on. So you might have a Pidgey, maybe a Pidgeotto by second batch, but like I think it's just a solid like 1-2 start, like nothing too crazy. Go ahead and click the next one. Let me know what we're looking at.
Oh, we got a big pincer over here.
So yeah, the foreshadowing
Big
of
man
the Pincer on
Pincer.
rocks.
Big man Pincer.
Kind of gave
Sorry.
that one away with the Stone Edge that it was using.
I'll have that
but
buttoned up next time.
it's my bad. I fucked it up. But I just feel like Pinsir is a solid. Like, what love does Pinsir get? What love does it get in the game?
It
In
doesn't,
anything?
and it's such a cool Pokemon.
It gets
It's so
one
sick.
Mega Evolution, I think. That's the only time it really gets any shine.
In like the anime when it gets the Mega.
No,
I-
not even in the anime. I'm just saying, like, they gave it a Mega Evolution.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
there's a lot of Pokemon that just don't, like, everyone's been dying for a Dragonite Mega Evolution, but they're like, they gave it to Pinsir?
Yeah, it's fire.
My,
But
like,
because
anecdote-
those are so underrated, everyone knows, you know?
I remember
Mega
playing Gen 1 and Gen 2. Golduck was so much stronger than I thought based on like appearance. Like thought it was kind of like a cool looking duck, but I'm like, wow, this Pokemon slaps. Pinsir looked so cool, wanted him to slap, didn't feel that great in the games. Not a lot of love.
I think part of that is that Gen 1 didn't give like any good bug moves. Like there's, you know what I mean? They don't even have bug bite. It's like you
It's
get
literally Twin Needle, right? It's literally, that's the only.
yeah, and I think that's a Beedrill exclusive. So like I don't even think you have that. So yeah, I mean if they gave him better moves, even if you give him bug bite, but anything other than like Fury Cutter. But he's got like Vice Grip, which is
But I feel like he's probably good early, right?
that's what I mean.
Well, he's
and
a
that's
single
why I feel like-
evolution, so he'd be, like, I feel like these early gens, the single evolutions are
Yeah, like strong
a little
early game.
stronger. Yeah.
Well, I think he's got like 85 base attack or something like that. Maybe if it might even be 95 and 85 defense. Like he would be a menace as like a third poke for a second gym badge, and
Oh, for sure.
I just there's no
But-
gym leader.
didn't you-
that has-
Yeah, he
But
needs
that second
Pinsir
gym,
needs
you go
love.
through you go through the cave right before you get to Cerulean, technically. So, like, I guess no, excuse me. I was wrong.
you wouldn't be able to get it. This would be like
yeah.
the backstory of this gym leader is like, hey, maybe they grew up in Fuchsia and they were just, a fucking whiz with the fucking Safari balls. And go ahead and click next for me.
Oh,
Click.
So,
there it is.
So yeah, maybe they're a whiz with Safari balls. They ended up with a low level Scyther and a low level Pinsir, or maybe
dude,
the
this as
backstory
a
is,
gym,
you
this
know,
would slap.
yeah, dude. So like, how cool? And now again, Bugsy's Ace is also a Scyther, but like whatever. So it's like, why in Gen 1 did we have these sick fucking bug Pokemon, and we didn't use them at all? Nobody has a Scyther, not even in the fucking Elite Four. The Scyther is just this like elusive 5%
Yeah.
chance in the Safari Zone. You can't catch him for shit. The bait doesn't do anything. That whole mechanic is just like dumb as shit. And it's just like, why would we not highlight how sick it is to have a fucking Scyther, this praying mantis that flies and has
Yeah,
fucking
in
scythe-
like a pre-internet era too, you really do have to stumble upon it. Like there isn't like the oh my god, I fought that trainer in a Scyther and like I want it. You know what I mean?
I don't even know if there's a single trainer in the whole
Game. Ooh.
We would have to fact check that.
I'll
but I
fact
don't
check
know
that.
if there's
I think there's probably one ace trainer somewhere in the Victory Road that has one, I think.
I mean, if we're talking the first gen, probably not. Maybe Fire Red and Leaf Green, they updated it, and definitely like by like Let's Go, they probably were like, we should make him viable and in the game. But like, yeah, I mean, fact check that for sure. But it's just like, same premise. It's like show these bugs some love, especially early on. It's like obviously he's quad weak to rock. So playability wise, you come through that tunnel, you get a Geodude, you're all set. It's like that thing's not going to do shit.
Yeah.
But it's cool to look at it. And
Celadon
be like,
City, there's a one in Celadon City.
Celadon City?
Yes, in Pokemon. In Pokemon Red, there's a trainer with a Scyther in Celadon City. The Pokemon Center allows you to buy coins.
Who do you battle in Celadon City?
That's what the AI says. It's the AI world.
I don't know if I agree with AI
Well,
right now, dude.
I'll have to check it. We'll have to get the
Yeah, I
name
mean,
of the
I literally just
trainer.
typed into Google Celadon City trainer with Scyther.
Do you have the trainer name?
Scyther trainer? Maybe there's 6 years ago someone on Reddit said it. I don't know. I just was going through AI. Maybe it's
Okay,
Fire Red?
Cerebi.net. I think this is pretty valid.
Oh, definitely. Sarah B's the best.
Trainer Bug Catcher Brandon. Route 204 with the versus Seeker. No, 204 isn't Gen 1. Right?
Now, that's probably on the Sevi Islands or like somewhere like that. But either way, if it's with the VS Seeker, it's like your second or third time battling. So like, if it's not even the first time, you know,
Yeah, this seems like it's Gen 2. Pokedex DP trainers. We want what? Red, blue, yellow?
red, blue, yellow, or FRLG, right? Fire, red, leaf, green.
I'm failing, but we can fact check that later. We'll circle back. We'll put that in the parking lot.
Either way, they don't get enough representation, and they deserve it. So, all right, go ahead and hit next. And I basically, this is what I was just spending some time doing. I threw together like a rough matrix of like how
I love the
would
Gyarados ad.
a sick like for the third. It's the third badge now, so it's like you add a little more. Give her the Psyduck. That's a little nod to the anime. It just makes it like two aces. Like it would definitely make it way more challenging than like your typical third badge. But it's like give Gyarados a little love, man. Like otherwise you don't see it till Lance, right?
The Charizard ad.
yeah.
The Koga.
Yeah, so that's the big one is like adding Koga. And like I said, I fucked up and I should have put a Gengar in there. I don't know. Maybe I don't even know who. What are the six I have there? I've got
Golbat. You have
Venusaur.
Golbat, Muck, Arbok, Tentacruel, Venusaur, Nidoking.
So maybe take out the Arbok, even though he's fucking sick. Or the Golbat, but like I feel like Golbat makes sense for Koga to have. Like,
Yep, because he has it in the Crobat. And
I think you take out the Arbok in that sense, but you leave like 8th badge like Tentacruel, so you get water. You've got Venusaur for the grass, and then you throw in a fucking Gengar on that squad. Like that makes that 8th badge crazy. And if we connect back to the anime, like to the books, I got to reread them again. But I read them once, and Koga, he flips the script on him. Like he's evil. He's working with Team Rocket. So it's like you kind of put him as the 8th gym leader, and maybe Giovanni like had disappeared previously, and like
Koga's
he still has
in charge.
He still has the Nidoking, so that's what Giovanni's ace was, right? The Nidoking or the Rhydon or Nidoqueen. He had a few, but I think you get a little ode there, and like maybe then Koga disappears. And then in Gen 2, when he comes back as like the Elite Four, kind of sick. And also, it's like that's not that big of a bump from like you're the 8th gym leader to like now you're in the Elite Four. Like a little closer to the fifth gym leader to Elite Four. But
so let me go second, Konings, because I have a different take on the 8th gym leader, which I think might be relevant after what we just said.
Yeah, bro, go for it. Yeah, the videos are probably better to go last anyway.
I kept Giovanni, and I was tweaking him as 8th gym leader. And I think that as a staple, you absolutely have to keep the Rhyhorn to start off. I couldn't mess with the Rhyhorn. And admittedly, I love Nidoking and Nidoqueen, and I couldn't mess with either of them. And then you have the Rhyhorn, the Rhydon, and so I feel like I had to keep the Rhydon. You might be thinking, this is just Giovanni's team, and like, there's no tweaks. Now, I've omitted the Dugtrio, and I think that I love what you were thinking with Koga, and Giovanni's gone and he's coming in. I think that Giovanni is like one of the most fleshed out gym leaders. Like I think Brock and Misty are pretty fleshed out too, but he's the like organized like leader of the main villain crime group, and then he's also the 8th gym leader, and to me he feels like he doesn't play by the rules, right? Like he's kind of a
He's a bad
so
guy.
what did I have for the last Pokemon? I had fucking Donphan. Coming out from Gen 2 in Gen 1, just a big curveball. Why? Because Giovanni doesn't play by the rules. You see that
doesn't play by
early
the
on,
rules.
and it's Gen 1, and you're like, oh my god, what is that Pokemon rolling through? It's the first Pokemon you ever see, like, from Gen 2. Giovanni having that to just bridge the transition. No way to obtain it in game, but you gotta get the next generation. I thought I was cooking there.
Giovanni's so cool, you need it. They did
I
that
mean,
in the anime when they had the Blaziken.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what?
Yeah, like they're like, what is this thing, and how did it just beat Charizard?
Right,
How
it's
is
like
it so
Gen
cool?
2 Blaziken. You're like, what?
I fuck
Yeah,
with it
Don-
heavy.
my second favorite Pokemon of all time, behind Kingdra. So
I also
fire.
feel like it's so on brand with the Rhyhorn, like it just feels like it's part of that group.
just feels right.
I like this idea, dude. I like Giovanni. I mean, he's a big part of the story. I mean, he's like the first main villain really in Pokemon, and he literally everyone wants to be the Giovanni. Like you have all these teams coming after, and all these generations, or they're like, yeah, they just want to be Team Rocket, and they want to be Giovanni.
Yeah.
Where
All right,
I mean,
Dan.
like all of them have their own little sets and rules of like, I want more water, or more, I want to bend space and time, but no, it's cool.
Hey, that's
So,
crazy. That shit.
yeah.
All right, DK, I
So
got
if you-
your video pulled up. Do you want me to hit play, and do you want me to have audio on? Do you want to talk over it? What do you want me to?
Yeah, so audio on. So audio on. I'm gonna have you like start to that first frame. Well, I'll tell you when to stop it. But basically, what I did was I picked a gym leader that I would redo their like I basically wanted to take over their gym and like what I would do for it. And I kind of did it in a way of like, hey, if I stayed in their position, this would be my team, and then if I had my choice, I would want it as the H gym. So that's perfect way to start. It's so funny we were talking. Tyrell wanted that second gym because I also wanted the second gym. I was just gonna take Misty's team over. I feel like we talked about how many water type Pokemon there are, and I feel like I don't know, like the Starmie's really cool. Don't get me wrong, but I just feel like you could have a really cool team and make it a real powerhouse.
Yeah.
So you can play a little bit. So my first Pokemon would be Tentacool, and with the second gym, he'd be still a Tentacool, and then the 8th gym, he'd be a Tentacool. So you can play it.
Tentacruel's using me out as a puppet.
No, yeah. So like this first video, I just kind of took a bunch of videos from the anime. So
Yep. Okay, I think I'm
Uh,
pause here.
That's fire. My thing is fucking losing Wi-Fi back and forth. So
can you?
I'm
Is
lagged
there
out.
audio?
Yep, I heard the Meowth. Like I
Yeah.
am taking
So
over.
pause it right there. Pause it right there. Pause it. Okay, because I said people forget that this Pokemon took over a city. I mean, people literally forget. So pause it here. Go. Yep. So I mean, yeah, people forgot that Tentacool and Tentacruel. Literally, there's an anime episode where they took over another Pokemon's mind and took over a city. I mean, pretty cool. My second Pokemon is one of my favorites. It's Krabby. I feel like Krabby's a big part of, I think, one of the best Gen 1 water types. So I would have Misty have a Krabby, and then obviously in the 8th gym, it'd be a Kingler. So you can play the video.
Hey, wait! Stay here! Don't go! Come back!
Because this is another great anime clip from Kingler.
Yeah, they're battling. Twitch is a little bit ahead of.
Showdown time! Tiny or not, you are a Pokemon, and I'll show Misty
Or a little behind, you mean?
Yeah, a little behind. Sorry.
Yeah, so once you hit so you can see Krabby went through his legs. I mean, people forget that Ash actually caught this Krabby without using Pokemon. Ash
Oh,
Ash,
that's right.
Ash went at this Krabby with literally a stick and caught this thing. It's He's a stud, but he catches him. And then basically, here's another clip of Kingler. People also forget that once this Krabby evolved, he went 3-0 and won a Pokemon League match. I mean, he's a clutch player, and that's something I'd want in my gym. I want a Pokemon that could step up. And I mean, you can pause it here. Yep. So the third Pokemon I'd have in the second gym, I wouldn't have him because I think Gyarados is a little OP. But I mean, we all been talking about how crazy Gyarados is, and so in the eighth gym, it'd be kind of like I would obviously have it in the eighth gym. You could play it. It's kind of cool. This is from I guess the newer version.
It looks like newer Ash.
What?
It looks like a newer Ash.
Yeah. I think this is from the Alola version. It just real funny. Misty ended up having one, so I just thought it would be like, so like these Gyarados, and it's like, yeah, because a Gen 1 water gym type should have a Gyarados. It's not your ace, because I know what the ace is, but people forget that you literally use Gyaradoses to fight in wars and shit. Like, Gyarados is that dude, so you can pause it there. So this is my ace, the fourth Pokemon, because of course, I always felt like Pokemon, those 8th gym leaders and the gym leaders never really had a full six. Yeah, dude. So of course the second gym, I would be a War Turtle, because it'd be like, hey, if your Pokemon was not at second evolution, this is really kind of around. A lot of people evolved their second Pokemon, so you'd have the War Turtle there, and obviously the 8th gym would be the Blastoise. You could play it, but this would be my ace. This is my favorite Pokemon of all time. And I just think that it's just the pinnacle. It's just so cool. It just represents Pokemon so well. It's like, hey, it's just a big turtle, but it just has cannons. The cannons. Like I said about Magmar. So this is just an anime clip of War Turtle. It's a clip that all three of the starters were in there, but Blastoise stepped up first and got out of there. And you'll be hearing it. So Big Man Blastoise, as you can see, this is a live look at what in the 8th gym, some kid shows up with the Flame Lizard, and this is what's gonna happen. I mean, imagine being 7 years old and you see in the 8th gym they just have a Blastoise, so you have your Charizard. Just get pumped up, a couple hydro pumps, pretty sick. And then obviously this is a really cool clip that from a Pokemon YouTube thing of Mega Evolution, and in my world, Mega Evolution would have made it to Kanto because for some reason, there's only a couple regions with Mega Evolution. Maybe there's a thing in the story about it. I just always thought that was weird. You would think that every gen would have Mega Evolution, so I'd have a Mega Blastoise as my ace, and I mean, imagine that, just gen 8th gym, Mega Evolution, get you ready for the Elite Four. That's a battle. I mean, it's just sick. And that would be my Gen 1 Pokemon team. Be an eighth. It'd be an 8th gym water type.
I like that.
I love it.
I think it's fitting because water types are the fucking best. So
I think it makes too much sense.
Makes too much sense.
Giovanni, I love Giovanni. I think we've all had him replaced, other than Anthony. Anthony kind of redid his, but me and Tyrell both had him replaced, but I think Giovanni is still really cool. And I think if Giovanni was just like what Romeo put him as, we wouldn't want to replace him as the 8th gym,
Facts.
But yeah, so I think that Gen 1, especially when you look back at it, especially that first game of Red, Blue, and Yellow. I mean, not even Yellow, but Red and Blue and what is it, Green in Japan? They went at it, and I think they did their best. I mean, they literally made a game that changed the world.
Yeah.
But in retrospect, everything could be better in hindsight. So I honestly fuck with all of our changes.
Hell yeah.
All right, Tyrell, can you on Discord pull up this Twitch thing on your phone? Because it might be relevant if you can see this.
I literally that's what I was just trying to do. I was trying to log in, and I have my password saved on my phone.
Or do you have the books with you?
What?
Do you have the books with you?
I have just volume.
No, you need a
22,
couple.
23, 20. See
if you can get this pulled up, because it would be clutch if you could.
I will try my best. It just told me that my password was incorrect, even though it's saved on my phone with a key.
I mean, it could have been wrong. I mean, come
We'll
on.
try to. I don't know why.
Maybe I can stream it on Discord too.
Trouble logging in. Okay.
You should be able. Can you see on Discord?
Hold on 1 second. I think I'm making progress. Send my password reset link. Okay, hold on. Oh, well,
If
it tells me my number's not right.
If Twitch
The
doesn't
fuck?
work, Discord might be easier. Maybe if you have the Discord app open
Yeah.
already,
Okay. All right, that's great. I'm good.
you can see it.
I'm up.
All right, this is One Piece book club time. So,
Alright.
just to tee it up, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, and I think that Oda, his writing style is there's this big world, and you're focusing on a couple characters, but everything else is going on. The world doesn't stop for the main characters. Everything keeps on moving. And again, everything here, it's not really like hidden and you have to be looking, like it's pretty spelled out. But all of these are like multiple chapters apart, and if you're not on top of it, it's kind of easy to get lost in the sauce. But if you are following it, it's like very relevant and kind of, I think, what makes One Piece incredible. So this is back in the Drum Kingdom. This is where Chopper is found. This guy is Dalton. I don't know if you remember him, but he's the guy that can turn into the.
I remember that one.
Yep. So there were the 20 doctors, right? And Dr. Hirlook went, and the 20 doctors were supposedly sick, and he was going to save them, and it was a trap. And Wapol is only letting those 20 doctors kind of stay with him. This kind of under the radar. Only a few months ago, this country was defeated by pirates. What? It was? No wonder everyone is so nervous when we showed up. Yes, the mere mention of pirates still makes us uneasy. They were only 5 pirates. The captain called himself Blackbeard. They were immensely powerful. We never had a chance. They defeated us before we knew what hit us. 5 pirates? You must be kidding. Blackbeard. This kind of goes into Wapol, but you can see here, you can see somewhat the 5 pirates. So you've got this guy with the kind of the long gun. You've got this guy with the kind of the cape and the little hat. You've got this guy looks pretty massive. This person over here has a sword. Can't really see that person, but you get this mention of Blackbeard is this incredibly strong pirate. Only 5 of them took over the Drum Kingdom. This is something that is a little bit less relevant, but just something Luffy's having a conversation with Sanji. By the way, do you know people who live in snowy countries don't sleep? Huh? Why not? Well, if they fall asleep, they'll die. So we'll just keep that in the pocket. Maybe not super relevant now, but... So then, in the same arc, we get introduced to this character, Portgas D. Ace. You kind of know him a little bit more now because he comes up in Alabasta. But about a week ago, a travel appeared in Roblu Town. It was strange. It was a strange day. It didn't snow. Okay, we know Ace, he has the firepower, as we saw from Alabasta, so it didn't snow. Kind of some foreshadowing there. We don't know how he got there, but he said he was pursuing Blackbeard, the pirate who ravaged our country. So, you have Dalton say Blackbeard came in, took over the country, and Ace is in pursuit of this guy Blackbeard. We told him Blackbeard was long gone. Let me ask one more question. Was there a pirate wearing a straw hat? Told him never seen someone, gave him the poster. If he shows up, like basically send my little brother my way. Yeah, so the name's Ace. Then we have in Alabasta, the first time that we see Ace, it's he was just talking and he suddenly dropped dead. A couple interesting things. Again, I'm not trying to like spoil anything, but just he's got this interesting tattoo on the back, which I think is pretty like draws a lot of attention to. And then he's got Ace spelled incorrectly with an S X'd out and then a C, which I also think is just somewhat interesting and kind of like Luffy, maybe a goofy, not kind of all with it there. But we have Ace here, and he's eating food, and he kind of gets beat up for not having the food. Smoker comes in, and you can see Whitebeard's 2nd Division Commander, Portist Gee Ace. Whitebeard, he's not one of the Whitebeard pirates. It's true, I recognize that tattoo on the back. What's he doing here? And we get here. So, in One Piece, another thing, characters can talk, but characters can lie. These boxes are always truth. So we know that Portgus D Ace, so we see that D initial, is the 2nd Division Commander of the Whitebeard Pirates, and he's just looking for his kid brother, who we know is Luffy. Yep, so we got that. And then as they're escaping, Ace helps them make the getaway. Yep, and so they get away, and Ace comes onto the ship. Luffy talks about how strong Ace was even when he didn't have a devil fruit. When Ace didn't have a devil fruit, he could still beat him up. Glad to get to meet you. So, how about joining the Whitebeard Pirates? Like, your friends can come too. No thanks. Well, just thought I'd have to ask. Whitebeard, is that tattoo on the back? And we can kind of see a little silhouette of Whitebeard, and he's got that mustache, which kind of lines up with the tattoo. That makes sense. Yes, and I'm very proud of it. Whitebeard is the greatest pirate I've ever known. I'm going to help him become king of the pirates. It's not going to be you, Luffy. Okay by me, then I guess we just got to fight. Why don't you sit down and talk? I'll make some tea. Don't bother. My business is almost done. Won't the Navy be coming after us? I can take care of them with the flame fruit. Ace kind of escapes. And they're going.
What was this chapter again?
This is 159.
Okay, sorry.
In Alabasta. So he gives him this piece of paper that he says to hold on to. Stay a little longer. Sorry, but I'm in a hurry. I'm on the trail of a major outlaw right now. He's been calling himself Blackbeard lately. He used to belong to the Whitebeard Pirates' 2nd Division. He was one of my henchmen. He committed the worst crime possible for a pirate. He killed a shipmate and jumped ship. As his commander, I'm responsible. If it wasn't for that, I'd never ever come to a backwater port like this. Next time we meet, we'll be on the high seas. And we have Ace go out and absolutely obliterate all of these ships in an incredible feat. And he says that he'll see him on the high seas, and they're talking about the White Division commander. And I want all, that's kind of part 1, then part 2 is a different thing we'll talk about, but I just want all of that to kind of be together and not 20 to 30 chapters apart. But do you kind of understand what's going on with Ace, who is Luffy's brother, is pursuing Blackbeard, who is a pirate who murdered one of the crewmates from the Whitebeard Pirates and has kind of jumped ship? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Did you follow that on the first read through? It is all over the place, so it's like pretty convoluted.
I did not. I feel like it was like I just met Ace, like it's like he just was there, and I like kind of breezed over. Like I don't remember reading that he was chasing Blackbeard.
It's so easy too because it's like a throwaway comment, right? Like it's like, oh, like okay, like sure, like who is this Blackbeard guy, right?
Right. Yeah. So wait, so Ace does not have any devil fruit though.
No, he has the flame fruit. But when they were younger, Luffy still couldn't beat him up.
I see.
He's Fire Fist. He has the Mera Mera no Mi. I think he said even when Ace hadn't eaten the devil fruit and I had, I still couldn't beat him up. He's got the flame fruit or the Mera Mera no Mi.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, it's just like when you meet characters like with Mihawk.
Yep.
Who was
the sword guy?
When you meet those guys, it just feels like it's like they're. And I know it will get there someday, but it's like I just am like, there's just no way that the Straw Hats are going to be able to take a guy like that down. Like
Yeah,
You know, like
Mihawk is a
Yeah, like-
pretty big.
when I look at like Crocodile, it's kind of like that was like a crazy fight. Like it just felt like he had so much more than what Luffy can do with like his ability to stretch.
Yeah,
And like
That's all he
Luffy
is.
just caught-
Stretchy rummy boy. That's all he is.
and I mean, to be fair, Crocodile beat Luffy 3 times,
yeah, right.
and like Nico Robin bailed him out twice. His crew kind of bailed him out once, but
Right. So yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah.
just feels like at this point, sorry, and I know it's super early, so that's why. But it's just kind of like it's like they don't have a shot against those guys. Like they need so much more training. You know, maybe some people need some of their own devil fruit. I don't know.
so no, in like Pokemon, right? In the anime at least, episode 1, Ash sees the Ho-Oh, and it's like he can't take on the Ho-Oh at that point, right? Like he's super far away from that, but it's kind of like the holy grail, kind of like the North Star of like what you're pursuing. I think Mihawk's a great example, right? Where Zoro's dream is to be the world's greatest swordsman, and Mihawk is presently the world's greatest swordsman. So it's like
Right.
for Zoro to finish his goal, right? He needs to overcome Mihawk. So he is kind of like you meet Lance early on Route 1, like helping out Professor Elm, right? And you're like, oh shit, this is the Elite Four guy, but you don't know it at the time.
Right. So
Well-
Quasi wearing a cape,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Um,
that makes sense. Though.
So this other thing it's very iconic panels, and again, one thing in manga, the paneling people care about, and Oda, one thing he does is if there's black borders, it indicates that there's a flashback, so white borders is not a flashback when it's black.
Yeah, pick that up.
Another thing is like if he dedicates a full double spread, both sides to one panel, it's typically a pretty impactful panel. And sometimes it's not a ton drawn, but it's like there's like some value or meaning here. So
I just
kind
read
of like
one.
a full, like it's kind of like a cover of a magazine, you know? Like I feel
Yeah,
like
you did
it's
just
one of
read
those,
one.
Like, hey,
which is why we're going to it.
25. People's dreams don't ever die.
Okay, so we're going here, and we have before that, People's Dreams Might Never Die. We've got Luffy and this guy sitting next to him.
One of the best double spreads.
This-
I like.
This cherry pie is so bad I could die. This cherry pie is so good I could die. And like both of them could die from this cherry pie, right? So they're like similar, but very different kind of ways. And they're like, huh? They both. That drink was really good. That drink was really bad. After both, like again, same exact posture, same exact stance, happy smile, happy sad. Hey, mister, I want to go packs of meat. I want cherry pies. I want 52 packs of meat. Make that 53 pies. No, 54 packs of meat. No, 55 pies. And they're going back and forth.
I think you should leave. So funny.
And then, like, so they're getting heated. Like, you want to fight? Are you a pirate? Yeah. What's your bounty? 30 million? You're a liar. Stop it. Like, no, it's true. And then we've got Bellamy, right, who you've met, comes in, and I think we just go to the next one, 223, 224. So Bellamy comes in, and essentially they tussle with the Straw Hats, right? They get into a fight, they go, but Luffy and Zoro don't really fight back. She kidding? What'd she say? A Sky Island? Blah.
Yeah.
They all start laughing. Man, this is a lot more. Okay, so here. Weaklings like you give pirates a bad name. Do not fight them. Now, what does this remind you of in the series? Is this does this ring any bells?
The Arlong Park when they're not supposed to fight Arlong because
Nope, so
Nami's
What I'm going
whatever.
for is chapter 1, right?
What?
There's the red hair pirates, and there's Shanks. And Shanks is in the
Hey,
bar.
tell me what chapter we're talking right now. What chapter are we in right now?
224.
224. We're relating it back to chapter 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here, right? Yeah, 224. We're relating it back to chapter 1. Shanks is in the bar with the bandits come in, and Shanks has the iconic line after they wreck all the bar and they leave, and Luffy goes like, "Why didn't you fight him? Like, why didn't you do it?" And Shanks goes, "Luffy, like, you can make fun of me, you can pour drinks on me, you can even spit on me. I'll just laugh it off. But good reason or not, no one hurts a friend of mine." And it's kind of like, don't worry about the small stuff, like, protect what matters. And here, Luffy, his idol, is Shanks, right? That's why he's set to sea. He's got the hat to give back to Shanks once he's become a great pirate. And he pulls a Shanks. He gets to do what his idol did and, like, take all the drinks on him, take all the beating, and just not care at all. So we go to 225, and again, we're kind of breezing through this, but they're fighting at the bar. Hey, Luffy, Zoro, kick their butts. Haha, this pirate's got no honor. You guys, why aren't you fighting them? Why? Why? Pacifism sounds like an excuse of cowardice to me. Not only are they weak, they got no pride, they got no fights. Their heads are just full of dreams. They're worms. Eye to that. Luffy just stone cold. They spit on him! It's the exact Shanks moment! You can even spit on me! Get out of my sight.
Wow.
And so...
Pretty fucking wild to connect back to episode 1.
Right?
That first chapter.
So you have all that, and then they ask Nami if he wants to join, and Skylands don't exist. And so then...
He says, I'll buy you, bro. He says, I'll buy you. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey,
Yeah.
One Piece is there's a lot of slaves.
A lot of slaves and buying.
Yeah.
So we go to here. Haha, this cherry pie's the best. We get the little callback to these foils, right? They're very similar, but like different.
Yeah.
Why are you so upset, Missy? Your friends won that fight. Now Nami does not think.
This is what I don't understand.
Okay, so Nami does not think they won the fight, right? She's like, they just got beat up, which is like exactly what Luffy thought. But Shanks is like, I really won. Like it doesn't matter. Luffy knows he won, and Zoro knows he won, and this guy also identifies it. Like, who is this guy? He can see, he has that vision that Shanks has. He has those kind of ideals. Your comeback was impressive too. You've got guts. Ha ha ha. The new age they spoke of is rubbish. The age of pirates' dreams is over. Ha ha ha. People's dreams don't ever end. Or pirates' dreams don't ever die. There's like different translations, but I think the more known one is people's dreams don't ever die, but it's don't ever end. And this is very reminiscent of Roger right off the bat. Wealth, fame, power, like I left everything in one place, you just have to find it. Kicking off the pirate era with everyone dreams of finding everything, and then you get again 225 chapters in, just re-cemented, here's this guy, dreams never die. Ain't that right?
Fucking wild.
And they know, he knows it's right. Haha, what are you saying? What about people's dream? It isn't it isn't easy to be great, haha. Something wrong with your head? Let them laugh if you're aiming for the top. You don't always need to need your fist to show your might. Haha, let's go. Blah, blah, blah. Luffy. Well, I won't keep you. You seem to be in a hurry. I hope you make it to that Sky Island. So he kind of knows, too. He's bought into the dream. Ha ha ha. This panel, I still reference to this day, and I can't possibly spoil anything for you, because I don't know. And this is one of the most talked about panels. Hey, maybe that guy knows how to get to Skypiea. I wonder who he is. Well, it's not just one guy. Huh? Not just one guy? Then what? There's more than one, I think. And Zoro kind of is in on it too. What do you mean? Was there somebody with him? Where? Ha ha ha, this grog tastes awful today. And there's like, I think this was one of the more original translations, but like, Zeha! Probably knows something about Sky Island. Who is he? Don't know. But it's not he. Not he? What? It's they. Probably. And every translation you can find on this, there is something about this guy who I don't think we have a name for yet, to be honest. But this guy is, it's not he, it's they. And if you have ideas on what that means, love to hear them, because it is, what does that mean, they?
Like a shapeshifter, like the many-faced god in Game of Thrones. I don't know.
Yeah, shapeshift powers. That, yeah. Like chameleon
Yeah,
almost.
Shapeshift devil fruit. I don't know. That would be my best guess.
Like bone clay, kinda.
Yeah.
But
I think.
I went off for a while. I didn't mean to monopolize, but I think that those threads are all very interestingly woven.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, we just like again, I love putting in this story in the context of when it was written, because I think there's a point to that of we're mentioning things that were like in chapter 1, and now we're showing what 233, right? Was the chapter name of this
Yep.
latest one?
Yeah.
I mean, what time? I mean, what is? I mean, Oda wrote that back. I mean, so long ago, and now we're in 2025, and there's stuff in this that, as a person who's caught up, you're like, oh my god, like things are still coming to it. Like you're seeing stuff in chapter 1, which I mean, do we know when it was first written? Was when chapter 1 was written?
1997.
1997. 1997. And chapter 233, right date. I mean,
And so
so
like here,
1997.
I pulled up chapter 1. This guy comes into the bar, takes the grog, throws it in Shank's face.
2000.
They're doing this, wrecks the whole bar. Like, he made you look like a weakling. Why didn't you fight him? Sure, they outnumbered you. And Luffy's like, maybe when you'll grow up, you'll understand. But it's this exact thing that you don't need to win fights with your fist. So.
Right. A good message.
Yeah, so chapter 233 was released on June 10th, 2002. So something that was written in 97.
5-6 years.
You know, yeah, it's just crazy. And it's like the fact that that's what I love about it, where it's a story that, you know, if someone who's reading it right now, Andrew, like imagine reading it up to date from 97 to 2002, like without any context, like pre-internet, pre-everything, of like just holy shit, how are you supposed to keep up with the story from 1990, like that started in 97, and then 2002, you know, real time, you're like, oh yeah, chapter 1, like you have to really pay, like it's unbelievable to me. I think that's so cool.
Yeah, you'd have to really remember and probably reread, like, you know, if you weren't pointing things out to me, I'm not gonna. I wasn't
Right.
gonna. I didn't notice it. I didn't notice it at all.
Right, but like
even
when
though
you do, the layer it adds.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you guys been prompting me, like little things will come back, and like when I'm reading, I'm like paying attention, hyper focused. Like, has this happened before? And like I don't know, maybe my reading comprehension is just fucking ass. I don't know.
Well, I think part of it too is like you can hyperfixate on something that isn't necessarily going to be relevant later. Like there's so many things, and it's like, okay, there's 200 little panels in a week, and in those 200 panels, 8 of them are crazy relevant down the line, and the other 198 or 92 are irrelevant, right? Or not irrelevant, but just progressing the story. But
part of the story doesn't like connect anything like crazy.
Right. But I mean, I think up until this point, that Ace Blackbeard part is like a very subtle thread, but I don't know of any other real major subtle threads that are ongoing up until this point. There's kind of like the Kobe and the Marines, but you really have the cover story, and that's kind of it up until now.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that to come around. Like, I'm waiting for like them to be involved in the story now, but still hasn't come yet.
Yeah, you got it.
But that's the crazy part too, because what are you supposed to, like you were saying, like you're reading comprehensions, like who, like other than the Straw Hats themselves, there's so much more to the world, where it almost feels like the stories, like Luffy, like Luffy's the main character and the Straw Hats are the main characters, but it's almost like the world's more interesting. You know what I'm not more interesting, but like there's just so much going on. You know, it
Yeah,
feels like the world's so alive and a lot. And then there's so many other fictions where it really doesn't like something relative like The Last
yeah.
of
I
Us,
mean,
right?
I feel like when you look at the map, even it's just kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah, the map is another.
yep. Sorry,
Like,
audio cut out.
Exactly. It's just there's so much going on to, you watch something like you watch a show and it almost like this show like what he Oda does is like make you care about what's going on other than your main characters, and he does it so subtly where you're like, oh yeah, and they come
Right.
back and at it.
Yeah, but I think it's like telling when you look at the map, and well, what you're saying too is just like most stories are just the point of view of like the hero, and it's like there's a little world building. I think the biggest connection would probably be Game of Thrones. That would be like the
Yeah,
closest thing. This much world building, because like in Game of Thrones, you have 5 or 6 different like major families, and like each episode. I mean, when you read those books, they're all written from one perspective per chapter, and then it goes to the next chapter. And even when you watch the episodes, it's like the same thing. Like you might get a lot of King's Landing one day and like nothing of the North, and then it's like the next episode's different. But I feel like that's kind of with this is like, we only just got out of like the East Blue, right?
yeah.
So,
yeah.
I haven't really seen a lot of the map, but they kind of showed how big and expanded it gets. But,
And do
you
you
know,
understand the map to some extent? Like, there's a set. Do you understand the concept of the red line at all?
I mean, yeah, like as soon as you go off, it's based on the compass and the magnetic fields that
So
pull you, right?
there's like there's the world is sphere, right? And then there's like a north, or I guess there's like a northeast, a northwest, a southeast, and a southwest. And what separates those is there's a huge, it's called the red line, but it's this massive just wall of red rock that just goes around. And it honestly looks like an X, which is kind of wild because it's a pirate universe and you're looking for the buried treasure and like X marks the spot. But anyhow, in that X, like at the center, there's a horizontal strip that goes around that is kind of walled off by these thing called the calm belt. So the calm belt
Romeo,
is
can you pull up the map on your screen?
I can, but I don't know. Like it'll show a bunch of islands. Like
Oh, then it won't show. Yeah, it will. I guess yeah, that's true.
so we'll just show it in here. I don't think it's gonna spoil too much, to be honest. So
What if
this,
you search? Yeah, like what if you search like basic map,
can you see
like
this screen?
early, like chapter 100 map?
Well, can you see this?
Yeah,
So this is the East Blue where our crew is, and there's the East, there's the West, there's the North, and there's the South. Now, this is the red line that I was talking about, right? This
yeah,
massive continent, it's just a big land wall brick thing. Here, this is called Reverse Mountain. So
yeah.
the Straw Hats
I
come
remember.
from the East Blue up to here, and then they go down this way. If you were in the North Blue, you would go up here and then down this way. If you were in the West Blue, you'd go up here and then down this way. It funnels you this direction. If you were in the North Blue, you might be thinking, why can't I just go down here? This calm belt is just loaded with Sea Kings. Just no crew has ever been able to pass. Just unpassable. So when you go up, you come down here and you have to go this way. So I know you can't see, but here is Drum Island. There's Whiskey Peak. There's Little Garden. Alabasta's the really big one. So we won't go what's beyond that, but we're kind of moving
Okay.
this way.
All right.
But yeah, that is the One Piece world
Fuck
essentially.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm excited to keep going with it. I just have to be more consistent. I think, we keep doing this every Monday. I'm gonna be, it's like a book club. I gotta hold myself accountable and read. I have the next like 27 volumes. So it's like if we could, from this point, I read 3 volumes per week.
If
You
you
know,
for this next week even just get through like I think if you get through 234 or
yeah,
235, if you just get to there, there's like enough to talk about.
fantastic. So all right, I'll read the 240, and we will continue One Piece discussions.
Yeah, and I think
Like
that's
going.
probably the last like segment of the podcast. I know we had the NBA, the Pokemon, and the One Piece. So, anyone have any
Yeah.
closing comments?
Well, just to give an update on the Thunder are beating the Wolves right now, and Anthony Edwards has 4 points on like 2 shots. So just if I'll touch on the basketball, and maybe you two will touch on either one. Like Andrew, if you want to do a Pokemon wrap up, Romeo, you do a One Piece wrap up, and I'll do a basketball wrap up.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty good with
But
the One Piece wrap up, but you guys can both give a wrap up.
well, just something that maybe, I guess but you know what I'm saying. So I mean, we'll see. I mean, Ant's got to step up. If this goes to 3-1, I mean, it goes to 3-1, and maybe we're right. Maybe everyone's right, and the Thunder are just going to be so good. I mean, if you look at statistically, if they win this series, then they win the next series, they're up there with the Chicago Bulls as one of the greatest records of all time. I think it's like
Yeah.
78-16, which is crazy. Because you don't look at this team like the fucking 93 Bulls. But if you go by record and, if the whole thing, everything about it is about wins,
Yeah.
you look at a team that did it in, everyone says what Jordan's era was full of plumbers or whatever, and you look at the who they're doing it to and the teams they've going to have to beat. I mean, they're not going to have to beat the Celtics, but again, who knows? Again, without Tatum, it does not matter. Whatever happens, and like that's the NBA, right? Everyone gets hurt. It's just, I mean, we can sit here all day and talk about all the things, but if the Wolves want to win this series, they gotta win this game. I really think. I think if they go down 3-1, it's going to be a gentleman's sweep. But that's my
Yeah,
wrap up.
I feel like it comes down to, can Julius Randle step up? Because that's, when they got blown out in game 2, it was like because Julius Randle didn't do shit. So, he's got 5 points right now. Like, he's kind of in the same boat with Ant. Like, they both need to cook up right now. But it's pretty amazing they're even this close with those two playing so poorly. So
Yeah.
that's but yeah, I mean, if they lose this, they are fucked. So.
What do you got about anything about our Pokemon recap?
I mean, obviously, like, Giovanni is like the goat. I feel bad that I took him out of my own, because you guys both had as major players. But I was changing the story up a little bit. I think Bug Pokemon deserves some love, Gen 1, but not at the expense of our fearless leader Giovanni. But yeah, I think next week we throw a Gen 2, same kind of deal. I think we discuss the region and whatnot, and go from there. But yeah, I mean, a lot of cool pokes, a lot of cool. People make emulators all the time that have like a lot of cool shit. It's not like
Question for next week.
What's up?
Is it just the first 8 gym leaders, or is it all 16 in play?
I mean, whatever you want to do, Rome's, I'm in.
Romeo, this next one, Romeo's gonna just do all third gen Pokemon and a second gen.
Yeah, they're just all 3 gens, dude.
Who would have thought? No.
The curveball.
Be careful. Every single Pokemon, like I think something that I want to talk about next week is what Gold and Soul Silver did, in the sense of, in my eyes, really doing a Godfather 2, in the sense of, the first one was Godfather, and then they just dropped Pokemon Gold and Silver. Yeah, it just, they're like, yeah, the first 8 gym leaders, guess what? We're going to give you 16. And we're going to give everything. It was, if we're talking games that, like, I think did more, Fire Pokemon, Fire Red. Red and Blue obviously are iconic, but I think I'll go into a little bit more next week, but I just think Heart Gold and Soul Silver did a lot more for the series than a lot of people want to admit.
I'm excited to talk more about that next week.
Sweet,
sir.
excited. Great first pod. Signing off.